Hello and welcome. This is Akshay Bhargava from AMITY University, Madhya Pradesh. Thank you for providing me such an opportunity to present my paper. Namaste from India. Okay, so moving further, coming to directly to my title of my study, that is real scenario of CSR status in the era of COVID-19, revealing the truth of Indian corporate sector. Now moving further to the content of my paper, that is the issues of the research, hypothesis, methodology, analysis and finding, and test of hypothesis, conclusion and research gap. Now moving to the issues of my research, two major issues I have discussed. The first is to streamline the actual status of CSR during the times of corona pandemic, and secondly to explore the scale of corporate responsibility under the guise of CSR practice undertaken by the companies. Moving further, the hypothesis which I have made, two major hypotheses I have made. First is with the decline ratio of profitability owing to COVID-19, corporate sector has taken back a step in CSR strengthening, and next is with the decline ratio of profitability owing to COVID-19, corporate sector has not taken back a step in CSR strengthening. Moving to the methodology adopted beside cross-sectional structure, non-doctrinal methodology followed by the survey of public as well as private sector companies has been adopted in the present research, and the sample selected for the study is based on the top 100 companies as per the ranking of Responsible Business 2019. Out of the selected companies, 57 are public sector companies and 43 are private sector companies. Moving to the analysis and finding of my paper, now it has the core part of my paper, finding of my study. So as we all know, the consequences of companies' active involvement in CSR activities can vary, especially in times of crisis. But there are companies that implement CSR activities taking responsibility not only for the success of the activities but also for the sustainable development of the region and the country. The companies such as Penke Continental Group, Maximum LT, UAB, AB Ambergrade, SBA Group create value not only for the stakeholders but also for the consumer as well as for the society. With this, I will explain my first finding of my paper. The first finding is there has been a remarkable shift in the corona pandemic era which left the veil of the pre-strategized framework of the corporate social responsibility. Owing to COVID-19, the traditional trend has shifted towards the imbibing the spirit of doing good for the community by collectively launching their fight against the coronavirus. The best example of this can be shown by citing the top companies who contributed blindly for the welfare of our country. Amongst the Infosys Limited topped the list, in which is followed by Mahindra and Mahindra, Tata Chemicals, ITC, Vedanta, etc. Second finding of my paper is according to IICA report, private sector companies contributed 5,500 crores to PM Care Fund and the public sector contributed approximately 3,200 crores to the PM Care Fund. Third finding of my paper is it is evidently being provided that during the pathetic times of coronavirus, corporate sector is making positive strides toward achieving the sustainable development goal, which can be witnessed in the given data in my paper. Moving further to my fourth finding of my paper, that out of the 100 companies, 12% of the companies have invested in the providing direct benefit transfer to the vulnerable groups, especially daily wages and the contractual workers, and part of it. Now moving further, that is a test of hypothesis. So the finding of the present research itself justify the validity of the null hypothesis, which represent the real as well as the current scenario of corporate contribution during the pathetic crisis. Now moving to the conclusion part, the pandemic has brought a greater need for the innumerable products, selfless services, healthcare equipment, life-saving instrument, and to the utmost is compassion, and undoubtedly there has been a need of well understood by the companies implementing CSR. Last part of my paper is the research gap. Two major research gap I have found in my paper. The first is future research with larger sample size and longer event period may allow researchers to observe other type of CSR activities, and secondly, the further research can examine corporate activities based on the economic and environmental interest and the CSR and the effect of CSR activities during the COVID-19 pandemic on the corporate performance in the following years. Thank you. This is all from India. Thank you so much.